The rain fell in silver threads against the dim glow of the hospital lights, each drop echoing the quiet desperation of a man who had already lost too much. Ethan stood in the corridor, his hands trembling as he stared at the small cake box in his hands, the one his little girl had begged for all week. Inside was a single pink candle. Tomorrow was her 6th birthday. But there was a problem, a terrible one. "Daddy, will Mommy be there this time?" Her tiny voice from earlier that evening kept replaying in his mind like a cruel echo. He had smiled, nodded, lied. Because how could he tell her the truth, that Mommy was gone, and that her last birthday had been the last time their family had been whole? Now, standing outside the hospital ward, Ethan's chest ached with helplessness. His daughter, Lily, was in recovery from a heart condition that made every birthday uncertain. The doctors said she was stable, but her spirit had dimmed lately. All she talked about was how much she missed her mother and how she wanted one last family photo for her birthday, and that's when fate, strange and cruel and kind all at once, sent her daughter. A woman rushed past him, her umbrella broken, her clothes soaked from the storm. She was muttering apologies to the nurse at the counter, fumbling through papers. Her name tag caught his eye. Claire Bennett. She looked exhausted, maybe heartbroken herself, yet there was a warmth in her face, the kind that comforted people without trying. Ethan didn't think, he just acted. "Excuse me," he said, his voice breaking. Can you pretend to be my wife? Just for 1 week?" Claire froze, eyes wide. "What?" "My daughter," he whispered. "Tomorrow's her birthday. She's sick, and she misses her mom. She doesn't know. I didn't have the heart to tell her yet. She thinks her mom's just been away. I can't tell her the truth on her birthday." His voice cracked as he looked at the cake box in his hands. "Please. Just 1 week. Pretend for her." It was insane. Claire knew it. And yet, when she saw the pain in his eyes, the kind that only comes from someone who's lost everything, something inside her softened. She didn't know why, but she nodded. "All right. I'll do it." That's how it began, the lie that would change both their lives forever. The next morning, Lily's room looked like a dream. Balloons floated against the ceiling, pink ribbons shimmered in the morning light, and laughter, real laughter, filled the air. For the first time in months, Ethan saw his daughter smile without pain in her eyes. "Mommy," she squealed, reaching out her tiny arms as Claire walked in, wearing a soft yellow dress and the gentlest smile Ethan had ever seen. Claire froze for a moment, guilt flooding her chest. She wasn't this little girl's mother. But when Lily hugged her tightly, whispering, "I missed you so much," something inside Claire broke and healed at the same time. For the next few days, the small hospital room became a home again. Claire told bedtime stories. She sang lullabies in a shaky voice. She helped Lily paint, draw, and laugh again. And in the quiet moments, she and Ethan began to talk. He told her about the car accident that took his wife. About how he'd been living only for Lily, working double shifts, barely sleeping. She told him about her own loss, a fiancé she lost to cancer 2 years ago. They were two broken souls pretending for a child who believed in magic. And somehow, through the lie, something real began to grow. But lies, no matter how kind, always demand truth. In the end of the night before the week ended, Claire sat beside Lily's bed as she slept, her tiny hand resting in hers. Ethan stood in the doorway, his face tired but grateful. "She's smiling again," Claire whispered. "You gave her that." "You helped me," he replied softly. "I don't know how to thank you." Claire smiled sadly. "You don't need to. But, you have to tell her the truth soon. She deserves to know. She's strong, Ethan. Stronger than you think." He nodded, his throat tight. He knew she was right. But the thought of seeing that spark in Lily's eyes fade again, it broke him. On the next morning, Claire packed her things quietly. Lily was painting a family portrait, 3 stick figures holding hands. "Daddy, Mommy, and me," she said proudly, showing it to Ethan. He couldn't breathe. Claire turned away, tears burning in her eyes. This was the moment the lie had to end, but Lily noticed. "Mommy? Where are you going?" Claire knelt, her voice trembling. "Sweetheart. I'm not your mommy." The silence that followed was unbearable. Lily stared at her, confused, then looked at her father. "Daddy." Ethan knelt too, tears streaming down his face. "She's not your mommy, baby. Mommy's in heaven." "But Claire. Claire was here because she cares about you. Because she wanted you to smile again." For a long moment, Lily said nothing. Then, slowly, she smiled, softly, bravely. "It's okay, Daddy. I think Mommy sent her." Ethan's heart shattered and healed in the same breath. Claire broke down, hugging the little girl tightly. "You're the bravest girl I've ever met." And when she looked up, Ethan's eyes met hers, full of something unspoken. Weeks later, after Claire had left, Ethan found a letter in Lily's sketchbook. It was from Claire. "Thank you for letting me be part of your world, even just for a week. You reminded me that love doesn't end, it changes form. Maybe one day, we'll find each other again, not as strangers pretending, but as two people who finally stopped running from the past." He smiled through tears. Months passed. Lily recovered enough to return home, stronger, happier. And one evening, as Ethan walked her to the park, he saw a familiar face sitting on a bench, sketchbook in hand. Claire looked up and smiled. No lies this time. No pretending. Just two hearts that had learned how to live again, and somewhere in the golden evening light, Lily's laughter carried through the air, pure, healing, real, because sometimes, love begins not in truth or lies, but in the kindness of pretending, just long enough to remember how to feel again. The morning sun spilled through the hospital blinds, painting soft gold streaks across the floor. Ethan woke to the sound of quiet giggles and the soft hum of Claire's voice. She was sitting beside Lily's bed, brushing the little girl's hair as she told a story about a brave bird who learned to fly again after losing a wing. Ethan stood in the doorway, his heart tightening. It had been only 3 days since Claire agreed to pretend to be his wife, yet the world already felt different. The loneliness that used to fill every corner of his life had been replaced by warmth, fragile, borrowed warmth, but warmth nonetheless. He watched Lily laugh, her small chest rising and falling with joy instead of pain. That sound was everything he had prayed for. When Claire looked up and saw him, her smile faltered for just a second, as if reminding herself that none of this was real. Then she smiled again and said softly, "She wants pancakes for breakfast." Pancakes? Ethan chuckled, stepping inside. "Doctor's going to kill me for breaking the no-sugar rule." Lily gasped dramatically. "It's my birthday week. Rules don't count." Claire laughed, and for a moment, the world outside that room didn't exist, the unpaid bills, the empty house, the grief buried under years of pretending to be strong. For one perfect morning, it was just them, a family that wasn't real, yet felt more real than anything Ethan had known in years.